Part 2. Unmasking the Truth. Shemites versus the false identity of Semites. A message for Yahuah's chosen. As seekers of divine truth, we understand that uncovering the true identity of Yahuah's chosen people is essential to understanding both the past and the future of his covenant. One of the most complex issues in this quest is the distinction between true Shemites, descendants of Shem, who carry Yahuah's covenant, and those who have adopted a Semitic identity despite lacking the spiritual or ancestral connection to Shem's line. Among these are groups with origins in the Caucasus Mountains who have assumed the Shemitic heritage and identity, presenting a false narrative of being the descendants of Shem. The truth is, the identity of Yahuah's chosen cannot be acquired or claimed. It is a sacred lineage embedded within the children of Shem. Here, we explore how these distinct identities diverge and what this revelation means for those who seek to walk in Yahuah's light. Chosen people by covenant and ancestry. The Shemitic line is defined by both physical lineage and spiritual covenant. It begins with Shem, the son of Noah, through whom Yahuah established his promises and covenants. This covenantal relationship is rooted in a people who would uphold Yahuah's laws and live by his commandments. The Shemites, often represented today by Black Hebrew Israelites, carry not only a physical lineage but a divine mandate to serve Yahuah. Scripture teaches us that Yahuah chose Israel to be a light to the nations, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, which is a people, not a land. Exodus 19-6. This role, ordained by Yahuah, is specific to the Shemites and cannot be transferred to or claimed by those outside of Shem's line. The origin of the false Semitic identity. Historically, a group known as the Khazars, originating from the Caucasus Mountains, converted to Judaism around the 8th century. This conversion was political and cultural, driven by the Khazar kingdom's desire to adopt a new religious identity. Despite this conversion, they had no ancestral connection to Shem or the Shemitic covenant. Over centuries, descendants of the Khazars and other groups in Europe continued to maintain this adopted identity, blending it with the term Semitic to suggest a direct lineage from Shem. This adoption of a Semitic identity by converts with no Shemitic roots created a significant misconception. The assumption of the Shemitic identity has contributed to the erasure and marginalization of Yahuah's true chosen people, primarily Black Hebrew Israelites, and has allowed for a false narrative to proliferate in mainstream history. Shemites versus Semites, identity rooted in ancestry, not conversion. The difference between Shemites and these Semitic converts is not a matter of mere terminology. It is a matter of divine ordination. The Shemites, descendants of Shem, hold a bloodline and spiritual lineage that Yahuah himself established. This is an ancestral heritage that carries Yahuah's promises, which cannot be assumed by those with no connection to the Shemitic bloodline. The scriptures repeatedly emphasize that Yahuah's covenant with his chosen people is unique. For example, Yahuah told Abraham, "I will establish my covenant between me and you, and your offspring after you, throughout their generations for an everlasting covenant." Genesis 17-7. This covenant was passed to Isaac, then Jacob, whose descendants would become the 12 tribes of Israel, Yahuah's chosen people. Conversely, adopting cultural practices or claiming descent from Abraham's lineage does not replace the true Shemitic bloodline. The Shemitic identity is therefore not interchangeable with the Semitic identity assumed by the Khazars and other converts from Europe. Attempts to claim Shemitic heritage without lineage ignore the deeply spiritual and ancestral nature of Yahuah's chosen people. The importance of identity and truth in Yahuah's plan. For centuries, the true Shemites have been dispersed and often stripped of their identity. Black Hebrew Israelites, who carry the lineage and the covenant of Shem, have faced attempts to obscure their identity and silence their truth. The adoption of Semitic identity by those with no Shemitic connection is not only misleading but disrupts the spiritual clarity and prophetic nature of Yahuah's plans. Reclaiming the Shemitic identity is a divine task for Yahuah's chosen people, who are called to rise above deception and take their place as the light of the world. The scriptures tell us, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden." Matthew 5:14. Understanding this truth empowers Yahuah's chosen to walk in righteousness, unapologetically proclaiming their Shemitic heritage and role. Walking in the truth, embracing Shemitic identity as Yahuah's chosen. As Yahuah's chosen people, embracing our Shemitic heritage means walking in Yahuah's commandments, upholding his statutes, and living as examples of his truth. It requires discernment to separate the truth from historical distortion and to recognize the spiritual warfare that has aimed to suppress the identity of Shemites. The journey to truth may be challenging, but Yahuah's chosen are equipped with the resilience and divine purpose to overcome. This knowledge is not simply about heritage. It is about fulfilling Yahuah's calling and living in obedience to his word. We are called not to condemn, but to stand firm in the truth, offering a path for others to rediscover their divine purpose through Yahuah. In conclusion, the distinction between Shemites and those who claim a Semitic identity is fundamental for seekers of Yahuah's truth. The Black Hebrew Israelites, as the true Shemites, hold an unbroken connection to Yahuah's covenant. This divine heritage cannot be appropriated or mimicked through conversion alone. It is a lineage sustained by Yahuah's promises. For those who seek truth, it is essential to recognize and honor this distinction. The Shemitic identity of Yahuah's chosen people is not just historical but prophetic, calling us to return to his commandments, live in righteousness, and reclaim our sacred heritage. Let us stand firm as Shemites, walking in Yahuah's light and fulfilling our place in his divine plan.